Okay kids, gather around Granddaddy Rav to hear the story of his wildest League game ever.
Is League that game that Grandma says made you an angrier person?
No, it was all the white claws she drank that made her think that. Anyways, let's get into it. Chapter 1, An Unfortunate Start. You see, things didn't start out great for Grandpap Rav that day. Even a group of Red Hoodlums killed me, and despite this not giving the bad guys any money, it still makes your team think you are certified trash at everything and not worth basic human rights. Not to mention, when you play a character like this perky-titted pirate in League, you are really relying on your team and other things to get you ahead, like looking at your map, but your pap big cock didn't do that much when he was young, so I got very behind early. And when this chick gets very behind early, she sucks hard. And not the kind of sucking you are thinking of, young Rav.
Like sucking on the Mimeth Milker's grandpa?
You make me a prouder pap every day, but no, the kind of sucking that makes you want to go on Twitter and complain about how ADCs are too weak, but in reality you just repetitively got outplayed by the one on the other team who no one was complaining about being too weak.
What's Twitter?
It was your Grammy's favorite book to read when she was drinking White Claws, but anyways, the first time I tried to rotate to help my team out, I got bounced around like a cheap stripper in a pit of hungry horny hippos, so the beginning of this pirate's journey was unfortunate and her tits were incredibly tilted.
Like how tilted?
Like you could put up buildings and name a whole town in Fortnite after it.
I love Fortnite.
Of course you do, you're like 4 and still stupid as f. Anyways, Chapter 2, The Antagonist Ornn. You see, most games in the cancerous piss pit of a game were capable of being single-handedly ruined by some stupid shit stain running it down and dying, and in this game that guy was this flaming hot Cheetos walking obese ram. He was just determined early to prove to the world that he still doesn't understand the rudimentary concept that 2 is greater than 1 and would not stop picking fun.
My friend Jimmy doesn't know what 1 plus 1 is.
I don't care about your dumb shit, friend, I'm telling a story here. Anyways, he was dead more than your old cat Sparkles that your mother told you went to live on a farm, and despite being more behind than the caboose on the slow train, he still had the confidence of a bull. But this bull was single-handedly funding the organization whose mission statement was to make misfortune miserable by plugging up her asshole. Even when a bloody booger buddy came up to do what he would classify as helping, the dumb shit still found a way to get himself killed. And the pattern of him being as dumb as a dick brick continued as he just kept thinking he was actually more useful than balls on a dildo and picking fights with the little horny hamster going through puberty. And you will learn about all that when you are ready, but puberty is when your body changes and you randomly just want to start rubbing your little pork sword on everything, little Rav. And for you young lady, puberty means you are about to start bleeding out your butt tunnel or something, I dunno, talk to your mom. Puberty for this little yelping mole rat meant that an Ornn who was 0 and freaking 5 had even less of a chance in winning any of these dogwater dumbass fights he was picking. Oh, and in case you weren't totally convinced that this molten moron had an IQ lower than his own shoe size, he started increasing the difficulty of the dumb mini game he was playing by adding a tower to the mix, so it should be of no surprise that he was dead as shit once again. Others started to gather around after hearing the news that the dumbest shitter in the world was up north, so the sexy sheriff came up to see it for herself. Then our unemployed Aladdin ventured up too because he had nothing better to do, and the two of them just kept tripping over each other's uselessly flaccid micro dicks, making this little hopping guinea pig look like a goddamn Chad. And honestly, this dude had such a fetish for getting pinned to a wall and giving it up the ass, you would have thought he was this Nar's stepsister, and you probably need context on that joke because quasi-incestual sexual fantasies died out in the 30s when people realized how downright creepy that shit was. But anyways, everywhere this walking death magnet when he was finding ways to capital cuck up our chances of winning this game. You could have called it Ornn syndrome. Okay, Chapter 3, A Big-Titted Beacon of Light. You see, this game had started out like any typical day on the Rift. Obviously we were getting our shit kicked and everyone was arguing. My Nautilus just kept saying let me out while I was holding them hostage because I had hoped that this game was winnable, and with our back to our wall I had to put my money where my sexy mouth was, as a hyper fiery fiasco gave me a quadra, and it bought me just enough time to make these dumb piece of pussy piggies on my team stay in the game to fight another day. But let's skip ahead because the last part of this game was truly the series of events that made me remember this game over 50 years later, and so I won't cheapen it by talking over it. I want you two to experience it naturally like you were there yourselves. Let's just skip ahead a bit. We never got that fucking furry rugrat by the way, but wait, this is where it starts to get real good. So if you enjoyed the story of this epic comeback, please absolutely abuse the shit out of my subscribe button, as most of you are not. Rab out.
Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy, I'll make her happy.